Alrighty, welcome back to another episode of our Velocity Sellers Podcast. I am your host, Velocity Pete, and today I am joined by Tomer. We're going to talk a little bit more about what he as a seller saw in 2024, and sort of what he's looking forward to in 2025, and some more about strategy and getting in the weeds of just, again, what it means to be selling on Amazon in this day and age. So, Tomer, I want to thank you so much for joining us, and welcome to the podcast.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for having me. And I'm excited to talk about whatever you just said about Amazon, what we had in 24 and 25. There are a lot of things that changed and a lot of
Yeah.
stuff to go over.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited. The first thing I want to do, aside from telling all of our viewers out there that if you like these episodes and if you learned something from watching them, make sure to like and subscribe. The first thing, Tomer, I want to ask you is give us a little bit more about your background. Give us a little bit more about your history on Amazon, kind of how you got your start. I want to
Yeah.
give the people an idea of who you are before we get into some high level stuff.
Yeah. So my background is e-commerce. Before I became an Amazon seller, we had our own website or e-commerce website to sell diamond jewelry. And I was looking to leave that business because it was just too demanding, dealing with factory people. It was really a lot of mess. I was looking for something that could be grow to something big, but keeping it in a small operation. And the FBA model was perfect to achieve that. And with Amazon traffic, so I started to explore this in 2018 and then decided to just go full power on learning and becoming successful at this. And since then, I'm just trying to improve, trying to be better. I sold one brand in 2022, and then I just took off few months and also started a YouTube business where we acquire YouTube channels and try to grow them. Uh, at one point, we had like 40 team members, but I decided to quit and not really deal with YouTube because there's too many things that YouTube, like Amazon and all of these big corporations. They sometimes it's just algorithm. So sometimes they just block a channel that is totally fine from being monetized, and they have no one to talk with. If we thought Amazon, you have no one to talk when things go wrong. YouTube is on a different level.
Wow.
So I decided to just stick to what I do, and now we have a few brands. We're buying brands and just focusing on Amazon.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, I'm excited to get into a little bit of that too, if you don't mind. I'd like to talk to you more about sort of the process of getting, acquiring these brands and running them and all that kind of good stuff. But I do want to ask mostly about sort of, again, I mentioned in the beginning, we want to do a recap of 2024 from a seller perspective, from your side of things. What are you seeing that happened this year that changed over the course between, end to end? What happened in 2024 that stood out most to you and that really was something of note?
Yeah, yeah. So I first want to touch this question from perspective of all sellers. I think 24 was, was a big year as far as the changes that Amazon did. They did a lot of changes with their inventory, with their fees, logistics, reimbursements. A lot of stuff changed and announced Amazon Hall. Then they started, introducing like this competitor to Temu with Chinese sellers. A
Hmm.
lot of stuff. It's very hard to keep the pace. Every year
Right.
we are saying that this year the changes are like not like the year before, but it just they're improving the pace of updates and things that are being introduced, whether that's on the PPC or the regular uh, s- updates that they share or in the platform for third party sellers. So there was a lot of changes and things to keep up, and but I think that it's always opportunity. Whenever there is a new change, a new thing that is being introduced, usually it takes time for people to adapt. So it's opportunity. From our perspective, and every seller, could have a good year or bad year.
Hmm.
I hope everyone had good year. Um, we can say that it was a great year as far as our goals. We yesterday I actually had a meeting with my business partner, so we went over our numbers. and our goals at the beginning of the year, and we met the goals. So we're quite happy. In some areas, it was funny because we wrote down that we want to launch 15 products, and we launched about like 12, maybe 14. We have to count exactly around that number. So we met the goal of launching those products, but most of them were failing. And toward the end of the year, we kind of shifted our focus and changed the goal to buying something that is already making money and we see opportunity. And we bought our first brand and we saw a good success with it. So in 25, we're planning to launch zero products pretty much and just buy a few brands. The goal is to buy 3 to 4 brands, and just much more predictable process to grow rather than launching products that, let's say, I have an idea today. Probably I'm going to see the product only in 6 months. So 6 months, it's a lot of time, that we cannot, as we have really high goals, really like take and we want to really have something predictable that I buy and I know making me money in 2 months. So that's why our approach shifted and changed. And that's going to be our main focus in 25. So we had a good year. We grew to and met our goals as far as the revenue numbers and also profit numbers. So we're happy and we're excited to see what comes in 25.
Yeah, can't complain about that. You're meeting your goals. That's great to hear. And even amidst some of these interesting changes that Amazon had brought on this year, like a variety of different fees and inbound placement fees and the low storage fees and all that kind of good stuff, and some other extra things in there. It's nice to hear that sellers are still doing pretty well, and we saw that too with some of with our brands, that even though those fees came in, it was still a really good year overall for Amazon sellers and really and Amazon customers too. The numbers went up and the deals were greater and all that kind of good stuff. So, but yeah, no, that's great. It's a great to kind of hear and to kind of just get into a little bit more about exactly what went well for you guys this year. So very cool. Yeah. Um, Looking forward to a little bit, I know, in this year is really kind of where I think more of the interesting content will come from. Is what are you seeing? I know we're at the time of this recording, we're about 8 days into 2025. What are you seeing already from Amazon? What are you seeing? What are you guys preparing for in 2025? What's going on so far that you're excited about, that you're a little nervous about? Talk to me about your plan for the year as a seller.
Yeah, so nothing really yet, just 8 days. But I can tell you that for RNH, sales are really spike a day after Christmas. So for us, it's the busy season now. And we have another product that is approaching the busy season. So we're just trying to prepare. And like I said earlier, I had a meeting with my business partner yesterday, and we just agreed like we're gonna go full power on acquiring brands and being creative, because buying brands require a lot of cash flow and money, and add to the fact that the life of an Amazon seller are not great as far as cash flow with inventory, and it's not that easy. So we're trying to be creative, working with the seller financing. We're trying to be creative to use our cash in a smart way and still grow and acquire brands. So that's really a challenge, but it's really fun. And it's much faster process than launching products. I could start with the business now and in a month like finish the deal and finish everything. So it's pretty quick, and day after you already make money. Rather than a product that you source, you have no idea how it's gonna work. And you know, I don't buy these stories of people saying that every product they launch it's success, or out of 10 products, 8 are success or 7 are success. I'm dealing, and I know a lot of huge sellers, big sellers. It's aligned with what everyone else that are successful on Amazon see. It's probably like home runs. You have 2 or 3 or 1 to 3 out of 10 products you launch. So it's these are the numbers and statistics. And if I can really go to an area where my competition and the predictability is much higher, then that's what I'll do. So this year it's a really you know gonna be a big year as far as really understanding this. If the what we think going to happen, then we're gonna shift our strategy completely.
Yeah. No, and that's a great sort of a segue into my next question is strategy and kind of what sort of a little bit about what you did in 2024, some highlights that maybe you had that you something you did really well that worked out great for your brands and great for your products, helped increase profitability. I'd love to hear sort of some of your best moments of 2024 strategy wise, and then also if you have anything to share with us a little bit about sort of what you're looking at in 2025 already. And again, I know we're just early into the year, but like I know last year, 2024 was really about external traffic, and Amazon, highlighted that too of driving. You want to be able to drive traffic from your social media and from other sites onto Amazon, and they'll give you a bunch of rewards for it. But hearing from you, again, what were some of your best strategies that you implemented in 2024?
Yeah, so you have strategies in couple of areas within an Amazon business. You can have a strategy for like inventory. That's a whole kind of thing, or marketing, or you have this marketing, um, uh, launching products, which is adding growth, and the what we said, logistics, marketing, and adding products. I think these are the three things that you as a seller should focus on, and just stick to like to the basics. In 24, we wrote we want to launch a lot of products, and that was quite overwhelming. It takes a lot of energy to launch new products. Whether that's the research, whether that's your offer, whether building the listing, the photos, the copy. It takes a lot of energy, and it gave the toll on us. And it was, I would say, when was the Canton Fair? Was May, I don't know, probably May or something like that in 24. We went to China, and the idea of buying a brand was just like random before sleeping, like lay on the bed and talking with my business partner. I'm telling him, why don't you just buy like something that is already done?
Right.
Because we went all through all of this energy taking and launching products, and we didn't see really a good success. And I'm calling a success something that make you like 100K a month at least revenue minimum. um, so it was hard. We spent all this time, all this energy, and they said, "Well, don't just buy us something that is ready." And then we came back and we started to look, and from the moment our focus was there, boom, like things came to us. It's like everything in life. Also, when our focus was on launching products, things moved. So we knew that when we have focus on something, we're achieving things and we're getting things done. So we have to just shift to, instead of launching new products and taking that risk that it's not gonna work, and it's a lot of time also in the process. The time is the most important thing. Then we shifted, and it was a good idea. But definitely the trip to China, not just that idea alone, was good, because it was much different dealing with suppliers, seeing them and asking them from things. So, for example, when we were just talking with them over WeChat, or regularly via text, the effect or the results of asking, for example, payment terms,
Hmm.
or no comparable to in person. In person, when you have a drink with them, when you sit with them for dinner, and the atmosphere is much more relaxed,
Right.
and there is much more difference when you ask things. We just, whatever we asked, we got. It felt like they when they see you, they can tell you no. I don't know if it's their culture thing, or whether that's
Yeah.
because we see them personally and we did the effort to come and see them. But it made a big difference for us. For supplier, our main supplier, um, that's from 0 to 60 days payment terms, and that gave us a big relief, as far as cash flow. And so it was, yeah, it was a great trip. Yeah.
Sweet. I think everybody that has a manufacturer, or if you're a big business, I think they should be taking a trip out to China to kind of see where their product is made. I think that's a very healthy. We hear great stories like that about that a lot, and it's something that I think again every business should do, and just you want to get to the roots of it. I think you should know where your product is coming from. So very interesting. I want to talk about the sort of the acquisition of brands. I want to talk about that uh, as a strategy, as something that you as a seller are doing. Um, walk me through a little bit about how you identify what brands are even worth buying. Because of course, the basic is just how many sales do they have, how many products do they have on Amazon, what's their catalog size, all that kind of good stuff. But what are you and your business partner looking for when it comes to acquiring new brands?
Yeah. So for us, and I think for any seller that want to acquire business, it will try to buy business related to his niche or his category. I sold the brand, like I said, in 22, and I saw the exact same thing from the buyer. There were a big, niche around, health and beauty, and it made sense for them to actually pay more for my business, my brand, because it was in their niche. So we were very lucky, and we find like actually one of our competitors and a product that actually complete our brand. So it was really amazing. The negotiation was very quick and fast because we gave our offer. We saw the salary is not really flexible, but it made sense for us to pay those numbers, and because it matched our category, matched our niche, and it was very, fast. And like I said, when you're focused on something, when your energy is on something, it comes to you. So
Yeah.
if you just say, okay, that's what I'm focused on, I'm just gonna look, things will come.
Very cool. I like that, and it's something that is, I think, at the top of mind of a lot of people, a lot of sellers. Eventually, they say, okay, well, like you said, you want like one of your goals the last year was to launch 15 new products, and I'm sure a lot of people, in the best example, the thing off the top of my head is in their they make pet food, and they want to add dog bowls, they want to add leashes, they want to add other pet products. It seems like it would be, like you said, just a little more streamlined and a little bit more easier if you have the resources and if you have the know-how, to acquire these brands and go forward and say, okay, we want to start selling your products under our brand name or under this or under that kind of thing, or just buying the brand outright. So it's a very interesting niche to think about. Okay, well, we don't want to go from selling pet food to selling something completely different, so you want to stick with what you know and kind of get an idea of that kind of thing. And I'm assuming you're saying this also because the customers are relatively the same. You have a good idea of who your customers are, and so if you can acquire something that's very similar to your products, then it would be a little bit easier to get them to either buy this new brand, or also just to get an idea of who those customers are as well. So very
Yeah.
interesting, very interesting.
But I'll tell you that now we're in a position that we want to buy like 3 to 5 brands this year. So we're not gonna be as picky as like something in our niche. Probably it's not gonna be possible. So we are
Right,
open, going a little broader. So we sell like home decor stuff. So we're gonna stay the home organization also. We're gonna go broader, and then even if we can't find anything there, we can go even to other niches, because our strength is Amazon. We know how
right,
to do marketing. We know how
right.
to optimize listings to get better conversion. And so we know this, and we know PPC. So we feel that the opportunities and the brands that we acquire are not as strong as what we will bring to the table. And that's where the opportunity comes from our end.
Sweet.
Um, so we say, okay, if it's already making these numbers, and with these numbers, the deal makes sense, probably we can lift it by 50% more, and then the deal will just look much more different. So for us it just make a lot of sense to do that.
Yeah. Very cool. Cool, and I know, and then you talked a little bit already about it just now about optimized listings and PPC, but walk me through a little bit about what you're thinking for 2025. Are you going in with any new strategies? Are you going in with any new action plans to further optimize listings? Now with Amazon just announced not too long ago the whole title requirement change. And obviously, of course, Rufus has been a big player in the past couple of months here now. So what are we seeing already maybe in 2025 that you can share with us about your plan of attack for maximizing sales and keeping profit very high, getting all these listings optimized and winning on PPC.
Yeah, so as far as the strategy, the only main big thing is the Rufus. You have to make sure that Rufus understand your images. So now it's another kind of requirement for whether it's in new listings or existing sellers, to make sure that Rufus and AI understand what your product is through images. So it needs to be very clear. It also creates opportunity as well, because no, I mean it's a long time already that Amazon scans images and knows the text on them,
Right.
but I think now even more with Rufus. And such as that, actually today I recorded a video with a post that I saw by Kevin King, and he shared that now people search outside Amazon shift, and from 1% use of people searching for products on ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, whatever
Right.
their favorite AI tool, only 1% of people looking for products now there. At the end of the year, it's going to be 20% of people will
Whoa.
actually find products through AI tools. To perplexity, through ChatGPT to these tools instead of going to Google that like they used to. They're going to go and ask what's gonna recommend the top 3 hair brushes, whatever, and then the AI will spit the result. So you need to make sure that your listings also knows how to talk in those search engines language as well. So a lot of traffic and things are moving as far as the AI. But other than that, I think stick to the basics. It's a very tedious process optimizing listings, and it needs to be like that. It's a couple of funnels. You need first of all to have your idea, then have the creative of the idea. Let's take for example a main image. So first we have the idea, then we come up with the actual new main image. Then we run a pixel. Now, when you run a pixel, it's also very important to choose the right audience, because we had experiments where we run the same exact test and we're getting completely different results day after day.
Hmm.
Yeah, with Pickful. So what it tells us, don't trust Pickful like it's it's like the real thing. It's just a tool to help you. It's not the real results on Amazon. It's just a tool. People sometimes get confused, including us before. That's when we run the test again, the same test again to see whether the results are the same or not. And it was shocking for us because the same results getting you same test getting you one result, the same test giving you the next day, it's completely different results. So
Interesting.
it's first of all a couple of rules. Make sure that the audience size is big enough, like 200, minimum 100, but 200 is the best. Then that your demographic is dialed in. So you can
Right.
check through product opportunity explorer or through brand analytics, if I'm not wrong, your audience. So if it's existing product, you can just see who is your buyer, your age, demographic, whatever, and you put it there. It's gonna cost you a little more, but the money that you spend gonna save you a lot of more money if you run the wrong test. Then after you get a winner, clear winner, not the so clear winner, you run an experiment on Amazon, and also with that, you can just run main image together with the title, together with the bullets. You have to do it step by step. So
Right.
it's a process. You can just cut
Yes.
corners, you know.
Right. And I know that, from my own experience, but also the experience here with Velocity, it definitely a process is a great way to describe it. It's not just they're not just individual parts. It's all one part of your listing. It's all part of the whole holistic view of the listing. So, very, very great way to describe that. Yeah, no, and I think that's a great attitude going into 2025. It's an interesting prediction you made there about. I didn't even know people were doing that for products. I guess people are using AI for everything, not only just to look at search for products, but to do kind of more research on them as well. It'd be interesting to see if in maybe 5, 10 years if that overtakes even Amazon's share of that market. Of if people are now going to ChatGPT to say what's the best product on Amazon for X, Y, and Z, instead of just doing it on Amazon themselves. Because I know they were taking a pretty big piece of that pie for the last couple of months, last couple of years. Of people were doing a lot more product research on there instead of doing it on Google or doing it on other search engines. But there's always a bigger fish, right? There's always a bit bigger, easier way to search for products, and I guess AI, yeah, is coming up and is taking advantage of that. So, very interesting. I'll be excited to see if that 20% is true. I don't know how to measure that, but maybe I'll ask you at the end of the year if you think that is the case. But yeah, no, very interesting thought there. Well, Tomer, I want to kind of wrap up with asking you again, what's like giving you a chance to give us any final thoughts on the upcoming year, any final thoughts on 2025, and any final thoughts on just how to succeed on Amazon this year, especially.
I think the best advice, like any year, just keep it simple. Keep it simple, do the work, and be focused. Just like million other sellers telling you, like, do this and do TikTok and do that. They can do million things. Just really make your like the basic stuff really, really good, and you'll be okay. Make sure your PPC is really good, just the PPC. Make sure your listings are good, and make sure you just have products that are good, and you always either launch new products or you buy brands, whatever. This is just the growth, but just keep to the basics. Keep it simple. Be the best at what you do, and that's my prediction. The people that will follow these rules will succeed, and the people that are always running after shiny objects, they will be the same.
Interesting. Perfect. Well, I might have to have you back on just to give you a heads up. I'll have to have you back on at the end of the year to kind of see how 2025 panned out and see if we were both kind of accurate on what's going to happen. So,
With
but yeah,
pleasure.
I want to thank you for joining us today on this episode. I want to thank I want to thank you all for watching. I will have Tomer's LinkedIn bio in the description down below to make sure to check that out. And we will also have Tomer. Is there anything else you want me to put in the description down below? Any other
You can
websites?
put our my YouTube channel. It's called Sourcing Monster, and I just share news and updates, whatever I'm going through in my journey through Amazon, and share the results with you, so you can actually learn from my mistakes and my successes.
Perfect. There you go, folks. Now you have two YouTube channels to subscribe to, not just ours, but also Sourcing Monster. So, yeah, Tomer, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Velocity Pete, and we will see you next week.